Greetings again everybody, and welcome back to Dark Souls 2. We're now going to tackle the Dragon Shrine, which surprisingly isn't as full of dragons as the Dragon Area, but there's still gonna be dragons. According to many people, this is the final proper area of the game, but there's still more to come after this one. So it's not like this is the actual last area of the game with the actual last boss. Though we do have to come here first to actually defeat the final boss, or actually go to it, him, her, it. But yeah, this should be obvious to you. Those enemies we're facing here are very similar to those that we actually fought in Hade's Tower of Flame, and look at that, a quick death. So yeah, they basically are the enemies we fought in Hade's Tower of Flame, so we should know how to actually defeat them by this point. They're a little stronger, sure, but they do pretty much the same stuff, and you can win by just strafing to the right. And by the way, you might have noticed it, but there was lightning coming from above. Up at that tower, there's a dude who shoots lightning. I normally don't even fight that guy down here because I don't want to be damaged by the lightning. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's still pretty annoying. But not as annoying as the next enemy we're gonna face. First though, we need to pick up one of the best staffs in the game. If you use an intelligence-based build, this is probably the one you want to get. So, about this annoying enemy that I foreshadowed, he's right there. Let's just ignore him. If you fought him down here, we would have to deal with lightning, and in fact the lightning hit us even here where we should be relatively safe. That guy down there was one of those giant mace-wielding dudes you might remember from Hade's Tower of Flame. Well, see, thing is, this is that guy but on steroids. But first, let's kill that asshole there, yeah. Okay, now that that guy's dead, we can just walk across the entire map without having to worry about being attacked by lightning. But yeah, that guy down there with the mace, he reportedly has infinite stamina, but that's not true. He has almost infinite stamina. He attacks very quickly and has a very short recovery time after combos. It's basically just a second. Some might say that this requires you to bring your A game. I say it requires you to be an idiot for trying. It's not that it's impossible, it's just not worth it. Fighting that guy isn't particularly fun or anything. And you don't even get anything particularly good. You can get the Drakekeeper's Great Hammer, which is what that guy's using as a weapon, but other than that, there's no real reason to fight him. You can snipe him from up here though. A little bit of a hidden treasure chest. This is hidden in big fat air quotes though, because you can plainly see it from that tower up above. You need to do a little bit of a jump though, obviously. Now, let's have a look around. Okay, we have the choice between two enemies and treasure, so I'm a smart person, I think, so let's go for the treasure instead of fighting those guys, seeing as one of them is actually wielding a mace. This here is actually a completely optional side area, which you might have expected, obviously. And that guy pretty much always does that. But he never actually jumps down. At least he never did for me. And from that mimic we got the washing pole. It's a katana that's basically super long. I already talked about it a little bit. Basically every weapon has phantom range a little bit, in PvP especially. Or rather, most weapons only have it in PvP, which is a little bit frustrating. And the washing pole is kind of that, but much worse. And oh well, I died before I could even introduce our New Game Plus character this time around. Well, it's not like we're using anything groundbreaking here. I just decided to use Havel's armor. I normally call this the scrub armor, but whatever. It's pretty much the highest defense armor you can find in the game. It's also the heaviest, which might cause more trouble than it should. I mean, we can still use it without losing our fast roll, but if I were to use the gauntlets and the pants and also the helmet, or even just one part of that, we get a fat roll. I'm glad though that in PvE armor isn't really that important. I mean, sure, it helps some, but to actually reach a breaking point that allows you to take one more hit, you need a lot more defense than just, you know, 1 or 2 extra points, or even more than 10 extra points. It's why Fashion Souls is a thing. And we got the 3rd dragon ring. The 1st and 2nd dragon ring require us to do a little more complicated stuff to get it. This is just sitting in a chest. And we get invaded by an NPC phantom, of course. And to deal with it, let's just make sure we're at our most powerful. We could lure that guy out into that tower, but there's no real reason to do that because up here there's no enemies. I mean, first time I played it, sure, I lured him down because I didn't know what was up here, but yeah, I'm not really a problem. Any NPC phantom, by the way, gets completely harmless if you just have a weapon that has a larger range than their weapon has. And this phantom actually is decked out in gear that you can get from, well, a covenant that we are about to get the item that we need to access it for. So, right here, on that pedestal, there is a petrified dragon egg. If we give that to Magarold in Iron Keep, we can join the Dragon Remnants Covenant. And if you remember the first game, there was also a covenant like this which allowed us to become a dragon. It's basically the same here. But yeah, we're now done with this little optional side area here and about to come back to the main path. Right down here is where we went down. And the crystal magic weapon we got here is actually pretty decent. It's the strongest magic weapon buff. You can use spices to make it less costly in the stat department. This is something that you could do in general with weapon buffs because weapon buffs are useful for about every build. Although by this point the stats that they require also kind of dictate the duration of the buff. But if you want some extra oomph for your attacks, this is certainly something to consider. And no, I don't feel bad at all for cheesing that one mace dude. It's not like you miss anything, really. Fighting him isn't much more difficult than fighting the guy in Hate's Tower of Flame. It's just more frustrating due to the quick recovery time. And this is the final gauntlet before we reach our destination. Now normally I would recommend just running through there, but you know, while we're here we might as well kill them. They might drop something. Those guys can of course drop their swords, as well as their armor of course, but yeah, it's something you can do, just kill them, it's not too bad. It's just that you're pitted against mostly 2 enemies at a time here, which is something the game forces you to do all the time, but if it's 2 big dudes, I prefer to kind of play it safe, so to speak. And since we've kind of branched out to hexes a little bit, this is about as good a reason as any to use them. It shows off the usefulness of Dark Orb, by any means. It's the most basic projectile spell that hexes have to offer, basically. The other basic projectiles all require you to pay a small amount of souls to attack. And the ones that require you to pay more are kind of more useless, although more powerful. It's just that they're not really worth it because they have very few casts. Dark Orb, however, has about 20 casts. In our case, 21 because we have a high enough attunement. If we get even higher, we might even get 22 casts. But Dark Orb isn't exactly a rare spell, so you're gonna get several copies. So you can easily get like 40 or even 60 casts if you get enough copies of the spell. And it's pretty powerful. It's not much weaker than Lightning Spear, and Lightning Spear only has like, I don't know, 3 casts, 6 casts, something like that. I don't think I even have it equipped anymore at this point because it's not worth it. But yeah, this is just more dragon guys. You can easily pull them out one by one. They do take quite a beating. And it's not necessarily worth it to actually fight them, which is why I say I just usually run through here. It's not that they're particularly hard though, so don't take me saying that's not worth fighting them as a sign that they're really difficult. They're not. They're about as hard as any other NPC type enemy. They're wearing the same armor. Well, it's not armor, I'm gonna split it right away. It is actually the dragon form, which you can get by, you know, leveling up that covenant I talked about. We're gonna see that though, don't worry. Alright, finally. And you know what? Up there are the final 3 enemies. And I figure it's probably smart to not deal with those big War Pig and Great Shield wielding dudes again, because they pack quite a punch. Much more of a punch that I'm willing to deal with when it's 2 at the same time, plus one of those NPC dragon guys. And that big dragon there, by the way, don't worry about him, he's not gonna attack you. He's perfectly harmless, as opposed to that guy who's trying to kill us. He is supposed to retreat as soon as you enter that room, but I guess he didn't feel like obeying the rules of the game. So we're just gonna give him what he deserves. In general, I'm not too fond of this area. The enemies are kind of meh. I mean, you've seen them all. They're either NPCs like this one or enemies we've already seen, but less fun. It'd be fine if they all got kind of an upgrade like the sword and shield guys, but the mace guy, while not impossible, by far not impossible, is just not fun. But yeah, let's actually attend to that dragon. Alright, for some reason, that dragon gave us the Ashen Mist Heart, which allows us to access the next small set of areas. But, you know, since we're here already, and there's a big flying lizard here, we might as well recklessly attack that being that just helped us on our journey, because, well, there's a big thing we need to kill it, obviously. So let's attack it right away. I'm sure it'll be fine. I mean, it's not like it's kind of an optional boss that's supposed to be really strong or anything. So yeah, the Ancient Dragon just tends to fly up whenever you're too close to it and breathe fire downwards. This happens to be a one-hit kill. There is one way to actually survive that, which would be to use the Germ Great Shield, which has 100% fire resistance, upgrade it to +10, and then just get as far away as you can and block it. You will get staggered, but you can block it. You can only do that in New Game, however. In New Game Plus and beyond, the Flame Blast does way more poise damage, or damage period, for you to actually withstand it. Even when using a shield with 100% fire resist, you will get staggered immediately and the next set of damage will just outright kill you. However, the fight against the Ancient Dragon is not too easy. Too hard, I mean, but also not too easy. You can easily bait him to do those two attacks. The fly upwards and then the breathe fire in a straight line head. Just be sure to never ever get too close to the fire, because the fire is pure death in a can. I mean, sure, it looks pretty boring right now, and in fact it is. You can see that he has a lot of HP. A lot of HP. So this fight gets tedious really quick. There's another way people swear by to do it. It's to get to his hind legs and hit it a couple of times until he tries to stomp you. But that's less reliable than this strategy, for me at least. I've tried both. And this one seems to be more successful in general. It's just, you know, look at it. It's boring. It's not worth the fight in any way, and oh look, death. So this fight isn't particularly hard, it's just unpredictable. When flying up and breathing down, he will move around, and sometimes he will just move too close for you to get away. And to know which direction to dodge is kind of not that easy. Possible, sure, but it's too difficult to predict. So I hope you're not too mad that I'm not gonna do this. But if you really wanna see it, just let me know, maybe I'll try again a couple times. It's just not something that I enjoy doing. It's not worth it anyway. All you get is a giant soul, which hints at the fact that Aldia created dragons by using the souls of giants. And that dragon looked really similar to that one dragon corpse we found in Brightstone Cove, Saldora. But yeah, that's it for today. I do hope you enjoyed this episode regardless of my failure at the end. See you again next time.